Chapter 1. Chicago, 2006. Oh God, Abby, don't panic. Just don't panic. Sucking in a deep breath, Abby Barlow pressed her hands to her heaving stomach and studied the shards of pottery that lay splintered across the floor. Okay, so she broke a vase. Well, perhaps more than broke it. It was more like she shattered, decimated, and annihilated the vase, she grudgingly conceded. Big deal. It was not the end of the world. A vase was a vase, wasn't it? She abruptly grimaced. No, a vase was not just a vase. Not when it was a very rare vase, a priceless vase, one that should no doubt have been in a museum, one that was the dream of any collector and... Freaking hell. Panic once again reared its ugly head. She had destroyed a priceless Ming vase. What if she lost her job? Granted, it wasn't much of a job. Hell, she felt as if she were stepping into the Twilight Zone each time she entered the elegant mansion on the outskirts of Chicago. But her position as companion to Selena LaSalle was hardly demanding, and the pay was considerably better than slinging hash in some sleazy dive. The last thing she needed was to be back in the long lines at the unemployment office. Or worse. Dear God, what if she was expected to pay for the blasted vase? Even if there was such a thing as a half-price sale at the local Ming outlet shop, she would have to work 10 lifetimes to make such a sum, always supposing that it was not one of a kind. Panic was no longer merely rearing. It was thundering through her at full throttle. There was only one thing to be done, she realized. The mature, responsible, adult thing to do. Hide the evidence. Covertly glancing about the vast foyer, Abby ensured that she was alone before lowering herself to her knees and gathering the numerous shards that littered the smooth marble. It was not as if anyone would notice the vase was missing, she tried to reassure herself. Selena had always been a recluse, but in the past 2 weeks, she had all but disappeared. If it wasn't for her occasional cameo appearances to demand that Abby prepare that disgusting herb concoction she guzzled with seeming pleasure, Abby might have thought that the woman had done a flit. Certainly, Selena didn't roam the house taking inventory of her various knickknacks. All Abby needed to do was ensure that she didn't leave any trace of her crime, and surely all would be well. No one would ever know. No one. My, I never thought to see you on your hands and knees, lover. A most intriguing position that leads to all sorts of delicious possibilities. A mocking voice drawled from the entrance to the drawing room. Abby closed her eyes and heaved in a deep breath. She was cursed. That had to be it. What else could possibly explain her unending run of bad luck? For a moment she kept her back turned, futilely hoping Selena's house guest, the utterly annoying Dante, would disappear. It could happen. There was always spontaneous combustion, or black holes, or earthquakes. Unfortunately, the ground didn't open up to swallow him, nor did the smoke detector set off a warning. Even worse, she could actually feel his dark, amused gaze leisurely meandering over her stiff form. Gathering her battered pride, Abby forced herself to slowly turn and keep the broken vase hidden behind her as she regarded the current bane of her existence. He didn't look like a bane. God's truth, he looked like a delicious, dangerously wicked pirate. Still kneeling upon the floor, Abby allowed her gaze to travel over the black biker boots and long, powerful legs encased in faded denims. Even higher, she skimmed over the black silk shirt that hung loosely upon his torso. Loose, but not loose enough, she acknowledged with a renegade shiver. Much to her embarrassment, she had caught herself sneaking peeks at the play of rippling muscles beneath those silky shirts during the past 3 months. All right, maybe she had indulged in more than mere peeks. Maybe she had been staring, gawking, ogling, occasionally drooling. What woman wouldn't? Gritting her teeth, she forced her gaze up to the alabaster face with its perfect